Welcome, everyone, to this edition of Agile After Hours Tales, Treats, and Tributes to Mom because we just celebrated Mother's Day yesterday. Many of us here in the US did, and we understand that that might not be the same for everyone. We're going to kick off this evening with Marci, and she is going to tell us a little bit about all the things that we're celebrating. She's from the Chicagoland IIBA chapter, holds many certifications, which you can see in the announcement here. So, Marci, I'm going to hand the mic over to you if you can talk about why we're here, what we're celebrating today.
Of course. So we have a few holidays, which we've already, from our backgrounds and stuff, you can kind of touch on what one of them is. Obviously, Mother's Day. In the U.S., that was yesterday, although my mom considers that it's still today and every day, as we previously alluded to, and my mom and dad had a little dispute about how that goes, but they'll both get their day, so it's all good. Mother's Day actually started a long time ago. Mothers have always been around because we wouldn't have kids if there weren't mothers, but it began in, let me scroll in my notes. My computer quit scrolling, which does not help me. Hang on a second. It's being a pain in the butt right now. Like I said, technology. We love technology. So Mother's Day has been around, as I was alluding to, since motherhood, but it hasn't been celebrated in the same way since then. In the U.S., it actually was started by Julia Ward Howe during the Civil War. She was appealing for a Mother's Day for peace because she saw the devastation the war was causing and all the people that had been lost and so forth. She didn't get national recognition back then, but she was acknowledged after her death in 1988 for her achievements and her efforts for these women's rights. In 1905, Anna Jarvis, who's the daughter of Anne Marie Reeves Jarvis, introduced the idea of a national holiday recognizing mothers. Anne Marie Reeves Jarvis followed Howe's campaign and had pursued her own volunteer efforts during the Civil War, and she died on May 9th, 1905. Her daughter was missing her mother tremendously and all of the things that she had gained from her mom, so she started a letter writing campaign to declare an official Mother's Day. So precursor to how we do things with social media and all these trends that we try to influence and whatnot, she did an old-fashioned letter campaign. She did this through Andrews Methodist Church in Grafton, West Virginia, and the first observance occurred May 10th, 1908. So that day to honor grew into a national observance until 1911, when every state started to participate. So it was state by state. It wasn't necessarily a certain date at that point from what I have gathered. Then it started spreading internationally. And on May 9th, 1914, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed Mother's Day a national holiday for the second Sunday in May in the United States. Now, like I mentioned, other countries do celebrate Mother's Day, but they are at various times of the year. So if you can tell me when your Mother's Day is, if you're in a different area, or if you have friends in other countries and know when they celebrate. I started to do a list and it got to be, co-pilot and I were going back and forth too long, so I didn't get too far with it. But it does seem like almost every country has some sort of recognition, but they're at various different times of the year. So that is Mother's Day. Feel free to chime in if you know anything about any other Mother's Day celebrations around the world. If not, I will allude to our other items for today.
Well, I'll just quickly say, when I lived in Ireland, my mother was always excited. A little bit confused the first year because she got a card in March and I sent it off to her, and then she got another one in May because they celebrate in March in Ireland and England. And so then it became a tradition, and every year even after I moved back from Ireland, she got 2 cards every year. My dad wanted to know when the second Father's Day was. I couldn't find one for him because they
I don't
celebrate
think
on the
there is a
second.
second Father's Day. We'll have to
Don't think
check that one out.
Yeah.
But yes, you are right. Ireland is one that I did know because I work with people in Ireland, and you are correct. That one is in March. That was one that I didn't need Copilot to tell me because I work with Ireland. So they informed me when we were all saying Happy Mother's Day. Well, you missed our Mother's Day. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I didn't know. I know that you guys get the 17th of March. So St. Patrick's Day. So thank you for that. Does anyone else have any that they are aware of? All right, then. We're going to talk about the other 2 things we're combining with Mother's Day tonight. It is also National Share a Story Month. So that's why we said that maybe we could share kind of our recipes like we always do, and maybe some stories about our mother while we're doing that. You know, maybe it's an influence. It doesn't have to be your actual mother. It could be a mother figure. It could be someone that's influenced you. But to go along with Mother's Day and recognizing those, understanding some people's mothers may not still be here, or there may not be a relationship, we wanted it to be more inclusive. So this is Share a Story Month. There is actually a National Share a Story Day. That's back in April. But then the whole month of May is Share a Story Month. And that comes out of the different libraries and stuff trying to do story times. It began in 1974 as National Tell a Story Week. And then in 1998, it was extended to a full month by the Federation of Children's Book Groups. And again, this is influenced with storytelling in schools, libraries, and community centers, book swaps, writing and reading competitions, and social media challenges like Share a Story Challenge that they do on some of the national days and so forth. So that's our second item. Our third one is the fun one that I really, really, really embrace because it is Eat Anything You Want Day. And what this day is literally exactly what it sounds like. It's that you can eat the things that you want that you normally abstain from without feeling guilty. And it's just designed to be a day that you can indulge without guilt and have a little fun. So we said, hey, we always do recipes. What better than to have a category where anything goes? So those are our 3 holidays for today that we're kind of going to use throughout our conversation. And, of course, end up with some good recipes in all categories, potentially. Anybody have any questions or anything they want to add? I know there's a couple other things recognized today, but we had to narrow it down or I'd be talking the entire time.
Thank you, Marci.
Sure.
I will just say, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
My recipe is an ice cream one, so that works out very well as a good lead-in, Erin.
I enjoyed some sour cream donut holes today, which I don't normally indulge in, but in the spirit of keeping the meeting alive, I'm like, I'm gonna do it today for my people, for myself. It was really, really great. Fantastic! I see Cathy joined us today. Cathy, I'm glad you made it, and we're wondering how you're feeling about doing the cooking section. Do you feel ready to push off on that?
Well, it's going to run a little differently this month, but
Okay.
with moms, and my mom is 93, and she's awesome. It was not on our bingo card to visit the ER today. I was getting ready to do my final goodbyes and was planning to be home by about 2 this afternoon and have more things ready for tonight. But the bingo mom card came into play, and little visit to the ER. But she's back home, so all is good. They were concerned she had a blood clot, but no blood clot.
She's okay, though. That's the important thing.
Yeah, no, she's okay. She's got a whole.
And you're okay, because I know that had to have been stressful, too.
And just a short little 4-hour drive after an ER visit, so not a problem. But what I wanted to do, are we at that point? Sorry, I don't mean to be jumping ahead. Are we at the cooking part at this point?
Yeah, Kathy, we're ready. Marcy's given us some introduction to the celebrations,
Awesome.
and we always like to feature you with the Cooking with Kathy section. So if you want to talk a little bit about recipes, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Awesome. So, what I was looking at doing this month, and you guys will get a recipe book, I promise. I have two recipes I was going to talk to you guys about in hopes that it would spur some moments. And Marcy, I got your email, so I'll pass the baton to you in a
Sure,
moment. And you
not a
can talk
problem.
about yours. But if during this discussion, one, if you've sent me some recipes, please throw a message in the chat and I'll be sure to include them, and we'll give you guys opportunity to walk through your stories. The fun thing about mom recipes is there's always a story behind them. So I have two. One is the tried and true mom recipe, and it was nothing more than peppered steak. So not a huge, cordon bleu or 7-course meal, but it was the tried and true comfort food. You knew mom cared about you because when you smelled that peppered steak coming from the kitchen, you knew it was going to be a great dinner. And it was, to be honest, one of the first recipes that I did as a new bride in my home. So you do little flavor switch ups, add a little more wine when you feel like it to the sauce, whatever you'd like to do. But that was my feel good, and it's a good thing. You can switch it up. If you don't like steak, you can throw in chicken, you can throw in fish, you can do whatever you want. It's a nice little starter recipe that I think my mom liked to see pass on. The other recipe has a fun story behind it. My mom and dad, for 30 plus years, did a Christmas party. Started small, I should say, just one. And when they were first married, and it soon grew. So it became a weekend of Christmas parties. My dad's office party would be on Saturday, and then friends, family, neighbors would be on Sunday. So the cooking began as soon as Thanksgiving meal was put away, and involved the leftovers from Thanksgiving. So we made use of everything in our house. But my mom would make cream puffs, and easy enough, direction. And I will include the recipe. It's nothing that she created. It was from the favorite Betty Holmes and Crocker cookbook. But it was something she did every year. So after Thanksgiving, we would start my dad's glug, which will be shared at a Father's Day session of future time. So that would start as soon as Thanksgiving was wrapped up. And my mom would start making hors d'oeuvres. And because of the volume of people that we would have coming through our house, she literally started cooking that immediate weekend after Thanksgiving. And she would cook everything. Hors d'oeuvres, she'd make tuna salad, chicken salad, turkey salad, mushroom surprises. She'd have sausage balls, meatballs, all kinds of stuff. And thank goodness we had a stand-up freezer because it was full. So one of the things she did, because she could do it ahead of time, is she'd make cream puffs. So very easy to make, very easy to fail, though. So you really have to watch when you're cooking it, because there's a certain point when it's ready and when it's gone. So as soon as you mastered when it's ready, you were spot on. And the recipe she would make bags and bags and bags of cream puffs. So as soon as they came out of the oven, cool them off, throw them in a bag, and they immediately go in the freezer. And the week of the event, bring them out of the freezer, and they would be stuffed with tuna salad, turkey salad. So the fun story is my brothers, who were quite hefty eaters at that time, loved the cream puffs.
Oh,
So
you don't
the whole,
say.
yeah, really. So the whole thing, not only did mom have to, really watch how she was cooking these cream puffs to make sure that they weren't fails, but she had to watch out for my brothers because it was one of those classic bait and switch. They tap her on the right shoulder so she looks to the right, and out of the left they'd go grab a handful of cream puffs, and before she knew it, she had no cream puffs. Um, but the funny twist happened after we were all out of the house, older, out of the house. Now it's just mom and dad, and my dad turned to my mom and said, why are we making all this food? We can just go to Costco or Sam's and buy these things and just warm them up. And my mom goes, really? We can do that? So she was thrilled beyond means. They go to Sam's and they bought cream puffs. Bought them ahead of time, threw them in the freezer, ready to go. The day of the party, she had the tuna salad, turkey salad all ready. Day of the party, she was ready. She was going to let them defrost and then slice them, fill them with tuna salad, turkey salad, put them on the table, be ready to go. She pulls them out of the freezer, cuts open the first one, and it's filled with ice cream. And she goes, Larry, what are we going to do? They're full of ice cream. So, yeah. Quick switch. They had a very fun dessert that year at the Christmas party, and thank God they had a supply of crackers. So tuna salad, turkey salad went on crackers. It was fun. And from this point on, my mom can't walk past a freezer section without looking at the cream puffs and going, they need to mark those better that they're filled. But those are my fun two stories about recipes from my mom that kind of I hold dear. So I will put those in so you guys have them. Pepper steak, very easy to do. Make any twist you want to make it your own. And the cream puffs, seriously, they are pretty easy. Just be ready to make the first batch, and if it works, great. If not, the second batch will be fine. So it's only butter and flour. It's not that expensive, but
wow.
Definitely
simple ingredients. That's what we need.
Yeah, super easy. But it's just fun. Fun to do. So Marci, I know you sent trying to pull it up. You had
ice cream, vanilla ice cream recipe, yes.
Yeah, so walk us through that.
Well, the story about that one, and again, it's a mom story, but we always, as a family, for like 4th of July and the various holidays, we like to make homemade ice cream using that old-fashioned ice cream maker that you put the salt and the ice in and layer it so that it would freeze quicker, and we had the old-fashioned crank and whatnot. But Mom got really irritated because all the recipes she found always had eggs in them, and half the time you had to use the egg yolks. And she hates separating eggs. And she doesn't trust, that they won't get you sick because you haven't cooked it and this and that. So she decided she would start before, and I found similar recipes online, but she actually created this recipe through trial and error. She started putting stuff together because she's like, I'm going to make a recipe that doesn't have eggs but tastes good. And I'm going, oh my goodness. So I remember one summer, every weekend, my mom would try out a new recipe. She would, concoct some stuff together, and we'd put it in the freezer and try it, trying to get the perfect vanilla that tasted okay with no eggs. And, the first attempt, she used heavy cream and vanilla and sugar and this and that. Well, she finally got it down to the recipe that I'm sharing, and it actually comes out to be a really good vanilla flavor, and it actually has a little bit of creaminess, more so than you would expect. And you can do it in an ice cream freezer, or you can do it in one of those machines they have or whatever. And it's basically kind of along our theme of very few items. It has, I think, I have to pull it up and look. I want to say 4 ingredients if I'm remembering right. Yeah, it's half and half vanilla, sugar, and a tiny bit of salt. and then you put it in whatever machine you have to blend it and freeze it, and you serve it, and it's so refreshing. But the twist I've made on it to make it my own is I always went to a custard place that had lemon custard, and that was so refreshing in the summer. And I don't find many places that do lemon, although there is one out in Mundelein that I go to when they have it. They're going to have lemon back in June because I've already checked. So I will sometimes squeeze a little bit of fresh lemon into this and cut down the amount of half and half and make it into lemon. So that's kind of... I still remember those summers and all the days I was so excited. Oh, we get ice cream tonight. And then you try it and you go, that's not it. A gallon of some ice cream in the freezer store-bought, so that there was something to eat if the experiment didn't work. But when she finally hit on it and wrote it down and stuff, and we kept using it, it was so nice to have one that I knew I didn't need to go to the freezer to the other ice cream. So anyway, that's our story. And I do have one of those recipes, too. I think I've shared it before. My mom's chicken tetrazzini is the one that came from her grandmother, and it's for leftover turkey or chicken, and it's just noodles and green pepper and cream of mushroom soup and cheese and pimento and a whole bunch of things that you basically just mix together along with the noodles, and you cook it in the oven and you can freeze it and do it. That's one that's my go-to whenever I know I'm going to have people coming in for Christmas or whatever. I make it ahead of time, throw it in the freezer, and then I can cook it when they come in, and then I'm not cooking the whole time they're here. And it's great for leftover turkey at Thanksgiving. So I'll send that one to you again, Cathy. I think I may have shared it at one of our things, but you can use chicken, you can use turkey, you could switch out your meats, but it's easy and fun.
I threw your vanilla ice cream in the chat. That was yum. I do remember the old crank. We had one, and those were the best. We always did it on a Sunday.
I still have one, and periodically I use it. I have an electric one, but I still have my mom's old crank one, and I refuse to give it up because there's just something nostalgic about it. And when I do it, everyone in the neighborhood comes over to see what the heck I'm doing. So it's kind of fun to see younger kids seeing how it was before you just plugged them in or whatnot. So.
Aw, that's great.
And hey, the motor doesn't burn out. It keeps working as long as my arm does. So.
And you can burn off some calories with that arm, so you have
before you
exactly
for the ice cream. So
it's actually kind of fun to do. And if you have more than one person, you trade off. It's fun watching it start to get thicker through the little clear lid. And I don't know, I still like it.
It is fun. Our favorite flavor was butter pecan. So
yep, that's my grandma's favorite.
But the vanilla is awesome because then you can add whatever you want to.
You can make it, that's your canvas, and then you can add, chocolate, or like I said, I do lemon or whatever, so.
Too fun.
Is there anyone else that wanted to talk about one of Mom's recipes that's coming to mind?
I'd like to chime in if I may.
Sure.
First of all, I want to say that my mom was never one who loved messing around in the kitchen. She found, especially when the kitchen got particularly warm, she would rather be someplace else. And if it had been pretty warm and she was working on making something, she would usually shoo everybody else out so she had elbow room, because when she got hot, it was a little bit too stressful for her at times. And I appreciate that. I know what she means, but I can enjoy myself. We fortunately have a larger kitchen than when I was growing up, so I get it. And one thing she really that I loved as a kid and still would like to have whenever possible, she made a very simple tuna casserole where you take white rice, you make white rice the way you normally would, and following the instructions. It's probably like a cup of white rice to 2 cups of water, and just let it steam until you've got your rice the right consistency to be happy with it. Open up a can or 2 of tuna, toss them in, grab some slices of American cheese, toss those in, and stir, just keeping a low flame, and you wind up with a little tuna casserole and just serve it as such. My wife recommends, if you're going to do this, to add some green peas so you get a little bit of veggie mixed in there too. But my mom didn't have that in there, and just very simple very few ingredients. That's it.
That
Oh,
makes
thank
it
you so
the
much,
best.
Norman. That
You're
gives me
welcome.
some fond memories. My mom made tuna casserole the traditional way and with the egg noodles and
Right.
cream of chicken soup, and definitely the peas make it. You
Yeah.
just you gotta have the color in there, and also we want to think at least we're having some greens. They're forcing that on us now, like, oh, what's green on your plate?
We'd
Is
have
there
the
any?
veggies on the side,
Yeah, veggies on the side, that works. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I like mixing the peas in also. So
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. And is there anyone else that has a mom recipe they want to talk about? Martin or Jenny or Karen or Raymond?
I would say I remember tuna casserole. I grew up on that. I don't know if my mom made it the old-fashioned way or the traditional way, but certainly had the noodles, and all I remember is it was good.
It's good. You can argue whether like we could raise our hands like, can you eat it cold or not? Because my mom might even eat it cold. And I'm like, oh gosh, I think it has to be warm. I'll raise my hand for warm tuna casserole.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
sometimes you can eat it out
it
of the
was
fridge
better.
cold. That's not for me. My dad was actually the one that taught me how to cook. He was the cook in the family and entered all kinds of recipe contests and things like that. But my mom had one singular dish. She was a country girl and she made really amazing fried chicken. Before there was such a thing as a KFC, I think she had like a lot of delicious ingredients, and she used to make fried chicken. It was her signature dish. And then another dish that was sort of like beef and black olives and rice in a pan. It was really delicious. So my mom didn't. She wasn't the cook in the family, but I'm always grateful to get a new recipe from anybody's mom or anybody's dad in order to share. I see Karen coming on. Karen, do you have a
Yeah.
recipe you want to share with us?
I have an interesting story. So, my husband's grandmother, she had no idea what she was doing when she first got married, and
You're on mute, Karen. You're on mute. Um,
that keeps happening. Sorry. So my husband's grandmother, she was not a good cook when she first got married, and the family asked her to make potato salad. And so she thought, oh, salad. So she was thinking of like tomatoes and celery and cucumbers and so forth. So she made the most interesting potato salad. And it's the one that we use all the time now. It's really different because you don't think of like tomatoes and cucumbers and so forth being in potato salad. I'm going to type out the recipe for you guys because it's actually very good, but it was a happy accident because she just had no idea what she was doing, but it just worked out really well.
Salads with potato, a new twist on potato salad. I'm
Yeah,
excited about that.
it's very
Anything
good.
that contains potatoes for
Yeah,
me is just a winner.
I'm going to get that
Potatoes in
typed
all of
up
its
right now and
magical
share it
forms.
with you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Karen.
I love the happy accident. I think
yeah,
that's where
it was
I think
definitely a
that's where
happy
some of our
accident.
favorite recipes come from. Those oops moments that we
Yeah,
go, man, there's something here.
Yeah, that's a great surprise that no one would have suspected.
right.
Uh, is there anyone else that has a recipe or a recipe story that would like to share with us?
Agree with
Raymond
you,
or Renee?
Patricia. Anything with potatoes, but not salad.
Oh, wait till you try it. You'll never make it any other way again. I promise
Uh-huh.
you.
We can
I
change your mind.
did. I did share a recipe for fettuccine chicken Alfredo
Oh yeah.
in the chat. So if you want to grab that from the chat, Cathy, and put it in our
Yep, will
cookbook.
do.
Thank
This
you.
is not my mom's recipe or anything, just one of my favorite dishes I love to eat.
Me too.
And any pasta will do. It doesn't have to be fettuccine and that. So I think I've used all kinds of pasta in there. Capitanina, um, penne, and just elbows, or macaroni.
Yeah,
Any kind of
exactly.
pasta works.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
egg
It can be
noodles.
whatever you have in the pantry, whatever's on sale. Yeah, grab that one. Yeah, you can't go wrong with
Please
noodles.
do. I can't get it to download on my stupid computer. I don't know
Oh,
what's wrong with my computer, but
let me see if
We'll
it'll do.
share it. We'll grab it and
I
we'll be
figured you
able to
would.
share it. Um,
Button says, "What do you have for puppies?"
we didn't do dogs this month, but I think we're gonna have to definitely do one of our upcoming meetings with some pets in there because we haven't been including the little loved ones in our family. Either any of our new joiners, Raymond, Renata, Jenny, or Martin, want to share a recipe or a family recipe story?
I don't know if it's a good recipe story. Uh, my mother, you could classify her as a Irish cook.
Oh,
So, so, uh, when my wife and I were engaged, uh, my mom said she wanted to have us over dinner, and she asked me, "Would your fiance like lamb stew?" And I'm used to the uh, Irish boiled meat and potatoes and vegetables type thing. So I'm thinking, yeah, sure, why not? Well, uh, I didn't realize this, but my wife said this thing tasted so bad she only ate a carrot.
oh, but you still got her.
Yes. Uh,
That
and
is funny.
so I guess that's the typical Irish type cooking my mother did, and actually her mother. It's amazing that any of us grew up well nourished.
You survived. You lived to
Yes,
tell about it, Martin, that you
yes,
survived lamb stew and you're actually intact and your wife still married you anyway,
yes.
despite
The
that
one
she
thing I
only
would
could
like
eat a carrot.
the one thing I would like to say is my wife does make really good kolachkis.
Oh,
And what she does with it, she gets her flour, salt, baking soda, and she cuts all the butter into it. But instead of using sour cream, she uses a vanilla ice cream to mix the
oh,
dough.
my family does that too. They
Yeah,
use vanilla ice cream in the kolaches.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that.
man,
Wow, cool.
they're so good that way.
Mm.
And
I
it's,
need a recipe.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
it's fairly, flour, salt, baking powder or baking soda, cut the butter, mix it to ice cream till it's smooth.
Yeah. And then bake them and put maybe some fruit in them sometimes.
Yeah, you get that canned fruit.
Yeah.
Um, I know, like raspberries, blueberries,
Yeah.
apple, even poppy
Yeah.
seed.
Yeah. Or some
I'm getting
jam.
really hungry listening to all
Yeah,
this.
this is killing my diet right now. I'm gonna go in the kitchen and just like put my
Today is
face
National
plant in
Eat
the
Whatever You Want Day, so when
I'm
we're
gonna
done here, I'm gonna
yeah.
be bad.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of good encouragement here. Does anyone else have a family recipe story? I'm
I
loving the
saw a
lamb
hand up a
stew.
minute ago, but
Was that you, Jenny?
It's mine. I had a um very smart mom, and I'm just going to share a recipe that you can do anytime you are in need of something quick. I keep pita bread and I keep tortillas in my freezer. And depending on which one I have, I use tomato paste as the pizza sauce, and I raise the pizza off of the pan with my cooling rack that is all metal. And the air between the cooling rack and the sheet pan is
Yeah.
enough to get it a little bit crispy. And I put whatever kind of toppings I want on that pizza. My mom would never have bought one of those little $1 pizzas that were in the freezer section, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
This was her go-to all the time. If you want pizza, make that pita bread pizza. If you want pizza, make a tortilla pizza. That's what we did all the time. She kept, shredded cheese in the oven. No, she didn't keep it in the oven. She kept it in the fridge. You get it. Uh,
Yeah.
it was just an easy way to have it. And when my son was growing up, I did the same thing.
Yeah, build your own pizza. Yeah, we had something we called Waco pizza. We were so poor when I was in college that we would put like bread and a slice of cheddar cheese on the bread, and that was Waco pizza. And if we were really doing well that week, we'd throw a piece of bacon on it.
Mm.
So, Jenny, you give me some nice flashbacks to college, and I was just surviving on Waco pizza. And now I'm like got tortilla pizza in my inbox and pita pizza, which I think that probably pita probably makes an amazing pizza crust, I
That'd
would
be
say.
good.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to try. I'm gonna have to
What I,
try
what
that.
I what I do with the pita, I don't use the pita when it has two layers. I cut around the
Oh, cut
edge
it in half.
so it becomes
Oh,
two half crusts, two circles,
Yeah.
and it's an easy way to stretch it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny. I'm loving it. I cannot wait to have pita pizza in my future.
I just pasted the recipe. I had to type it all up, sorry. But it's
Oh,
quite lengthy, but it's out there for anybody who's interested. I'm telling you, it's very good. You'll never eat
oh, thanks,
potato
Karen.
salad any other way.
thank you so
Of
much.
course.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I love to cook. It's one of
Mhm.
my hidden talents. I love to cook. And this is one of my Cathy's section is one of my favorites and when we have these meetings because I'm always going to learn something good that I can bring to my kitchen that's practical and fun and delicious. Um, all right, great. Thank you all so much for sharing all that fun stuff. Aaron, we can download the chat, right? So we can all get all this deliciousness, right? Hopefully we can download the chat after the
Yes, we
meeting.
can.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we
fantastic.
can.
All right,
Kathy's
great. So
going to
we'll be
grab
able
that recipe and put it in her cookbook.
All
Yeah.
right. Oh, yes. We do have our
I
IIBA
will.
Hmm.
cookbook too. Okay. So the next section of the meeting, we will call this the learning portion. This is why you're here. This is where you're going to get your credits. We're going to talk a little bit about user stories using mom stories. And Beverly, who is with us from the Nova Scotia chapter, she's going to talk. She's going to share her screen, talk to us about momisms. It's all yours, Beverly.
Well, thank you. And yes, definitely will share my screen here. We're going to do, so in a moment here, we're going to have someone throw in, I believe Aaron's going to throw in the Miro board link. And we have a Miro board set up. And what we're going to do is, so we're going to talk about user stories. Now, mothers in our lives, mothers really, when you think about it, they're the people that help us learn how to analyze things. Your mother was your first analyst. You came in, you said, I got a boo-boo. Your mother analyzed, is it hospital care? Is it, I need a Band-Aid? Does it need a kiss? Your mother taught you how to do those things. And really, that's something really important we need to remember. Even if our mothers are not around, or even if you don't have a really good relationship with your mother, she still taught you how to analyze things. And that's one of the cool things about mothers. So when you're looking at things, we're doing BA work, trying to do user stories. So of course, your user stories come in and it's like, as a actor of some kind, I want to do some type of activity so that I can get some type of perceived benefit from it. So let's look at it from a mom perspective, right? So a mom wakes up in the morning, and if you're like my mother, she was one that my mother said very early in the morning, as a mother, I want to have a cup of coffee so that I can wake up and actually function for the day. And that was my mother. So that was a user story, right? We can look at user stories from the perspective is that they are very functional in life. They are very functional in everything we do. And they can actually come out of, if you want to practice writing user stories, anything you do in the day. As a person who has good teeth, I want to brush my teeth in the morning so that I can continue having good teeth and good health. So I'm going to invite everyone to come into the room and also talk about these different types of things that your mother talked about that kind of gives you an idea of a user story. Now, one of the things I'll share with you as well is my mother always had the saying of, Is the person you let in your house a front door person or a back door person? And as I believe another person said, their mother does Irish cooking. My mother did a lot of Irish cooking too. We had a lot of boiled stuff. But my mother would always say, is this person a back door person or a front door person? And coming from her Irish heritage, people you let in the front door were formal guests. They were not necessarily your close friends. They were not necessarily your family members, because your close friends and your family members came in the back door. And so that was kind of an analysis that my mother taught me very young, was to really analyze, who are your friends, and who are these people? And so even today, I kind of often say, how do I want to identify someone who's a front door person or a back door person in my life? How close do I want these people to be around me? How much do I want to interact with them? Another way my mother used to put it is it a pot of tea or a cup of tea? Is this someone you want to sit down and talk with for hours and hours and hours? Or is this somebody you want to just have a cup of tea with and say, thank you for showing up, we're done? So I'm going to invite everyone. There's also a section for pictures for mom. So if you have any pictures as well that you would like to share, please do put them on. But I'm going to invite you to come in and share one of your favorite, wait until your father gets home. That's a good momism. Share one of your favorite sayings your mother did, but also write a user story. And it can be something really funny. It could be something very serious, but something that's not necessarily work related. So it could be about anything at all. And we really do want to look at that from a learning perspective of, who is it that's doing an action? What is the action that they want to do? And what value are they going to get out of completing that action, right? So does anyone have anything that they would like to talk about or bring up about their mom and analysis in the world? Or even someone who portrayed that mom role for you? Could be a sister, could be an aunt, could be a grandmother. Grandmothers were very wise in analysis. That's all I can say there. So does anyone want to share anything?
You did read my momism that is up there. And then I turned it into the user story that's down below it. So as a small woman whose children tower over her, I need to say, wait until your father gets home so he can dole out the needed punishment.
My mom said the same thing.
But see, that's and like I said, that's how you can practice writing user stories. Because if you're like me, I don't always get to write user stories at work. So I have to practice. So this is a really good way of, so if I'm looking at the analysis of, are you a front door person or a back door person? I could say something like, as a friendly person, I want to better understand the people that come to my house so that I know how much time I want to spend with them or how much information I want to share with them. So does anyone else have something they want to put in?
So I'm gonna share a hat tip to my Baba, the woman I grew up with as my grandmother.
Yes.
And I started writing it as an aunt whose nieces lost their mom, and I didn't spell their right, but my Baba was actually my great aunt, which I didn't realize until I was quite a bit older. My mom's mom passed away when my aunt was 9 and my mom was 7. And so my great aunt stepped in and married my grandfather and took the two girls, made sure that the two girls had a mom in the house, because my grandfather was a butcher who worked from early in the day till late at night. And my aunt remembered overhearing from their aunt that if there were no other person around, the girls would go to an orphanage because their dad wasn't around at home. So my Baba stepped in and married my grandfather, and my grandfather was gone by the time I was born, but I got to know Baba really well, and very thankful that she stepped in and took care of my Aunt Gloria and my mom. So
That's beautiful, Norman. Thank you for you're giving me goosebumps.
yeah,
That's in a good way.
that's
In a good way. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
So my Baba wound up stepping in, and that's one of the most wonderful tributes for Mother's Day. Just she was great.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
Well,
Anyone else? Any other people that would like to share something about? I see we have a visitor. What else do we have in here? Oh, we got lots of visitors. Excellent.
Well, I can say I have a similar kind of thing. My mom had lots of issues when I was younger. Still does, but I love her anyway. But at one point when I was a child, my dad actually asked my grandparents to raise me. And my grandmother not only stepped in, but she and my grandfather made me feel so wonderful and so loved. My grandma's the one who taught me to cook. And I'll never forget watching her. One of our family treasured recipes is zucchini bread, which I cannot give to you all, and I'll tell you why in a moment. My grandma didn't measure anything. It was a pinch of this, a pinch of that, and she had big hands. So, farmer's wife, she used to be on the farm, cooking for all the people that would be out in the fields and stuff. So she didn't know what measurements were. And she made the best zucchini bread from the fresh zucchini she grew, and I always wanted to learn how to do it. So here's my user story. As a granddaughter, and I'm not typing it because I'm trying to keep my dog quiet after the Amazon guy came, but as a granddaughter who loves your zucchini bread, I want to figure out what your measurements are so that I can have your zucchini bread forever. And my grandmother put up with me. She would do her zucchini breads, and she did this over a period of 2 summers. Every time she made zucchini bread, she'd put a pinch of something in the pan, and I'd take it out of the bowl, and I'd measure it, and then I'd put it back in. And we did this countless times until I figured out all the measurements of all the spices that she put into the zucchini bread. So I have grandmother's recipe, but I worked really hard to get it. So it is in my will that the family can have it after I pass. It's written out and it's locked up with the will. But for now, I'm the one that makes the zucchini bread and gives out the zucchini bread loaves.
Very lovely.
But that's my user story, and that's my time. One of the treasured memories I have with my grandma. She never lost patience with me. She always just shook her head like, I don't know why we need to do this, but okay, whatever.
That's lovely, Marci. It's very devoted of you to actually spend the time to get that recipe.
And
That's
is
very
two
cool.
of our.
And now that she's gone, I'm so glad I did, because I miss her peanut brittle and some other things that I didn't do that with, and I cannot replicate them. I keep trying. Her fried chicken was to die for, and I cannot get it right. I keep trying. Even though I watched her make it for years, I still can't get it right.
So I see a beautiful user story on the board as well of, as an IIBA member, I want to be a mom to my mentees so that they can grow in their careers and help their respective companies. That is a beautiful user story. Mm-hmm. I don't know who wrote that. Would you like to come talk about this and talk about?
I would like to talk about it, Bev. So,
okay.
Through Aaron's continued work with Western Kentucky University, we were able to work with some of the up and coming students who are going to be analysts or business analysts. And I just found it so rewarding. I felt like I was like their mom for that period. And I really want to see them just really develop and grow. It's one of the most value added things I think that we have done, that we're coaching the next version, the next generation of BAs, and I just found that so rewarding. So it's one great thing that our club does that also, for me, it just it just felt like I was the mom of that person for that week, and I really want to see them succeed. And I've had motherly feelings about those college students. So thank you, Erin, for helping us continue the relationship with Western and their up and coming analysts.
Bounce one more time.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That is an absolutely fabulous thing. And I think you had a wonderful time from the sounds of it. That is fantastic. Anyone else want to share? You don't even have to type it up. This is just if you'd like to come in and share it on the board. But if there's somebody else wants to share even a little story about something that their mother or mother figure taught them, or even something you taught someone as a mother figure.
I did want to invite everybody to put a picture on the left part, pictures for mom. I did that one you see I have the background, and that I just used the Windows snipping tool to take that picture and was able to post it there. So, and then I wrote a little note to my mom above it. So I invite you all to do the same. You can pin yourself, put a pin. I think you should be able to pin yourself, so you can make yourself big, and then put your picture up there for your mom.
My computer's frozen. I can't do anything. I can't go on mute or off mute. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, because I am completely frozen and I don't want to do anything or I'll lose the call and I won't be able to hear.
You. We hear you, Marci.
We hear you.
Okay. And we can see you, so we haven't lost you.
That's good. I can't screenshot right now because, well, I'm frozen.
I see somebody put lazy iris up there, some irises up there. I think that's
beautiful.
One of those impressionist painting. That's really, really nice. I got some irises to put next to mom's picture in my house this week. So that really touches me. So thank you for putting that one.
I don't know if anyone can get my screenshot for me, but I know my mom would love to see a picture of Button and I, being frozen, I can't do anything except sit here and hold the button.
So this evening when we were told the pictures for her mom, one of the things was with my mother, she was a huge fan of Van Gogh. And Van Gogh was her favorite artist. And she always talked about how she learned so much from his paintings, just about how to view the world in such a simplistic way and to view it with love and happiness. Even though he was such a troubled painter, she always found great joy, even in his what seemed to be sadder pictures. And she was always a huge fan of his. So, yeah, every time I see anything to do with Van Gogh, it reminds me of my mom. And it also reminds me of my other mother who grew irises.
Oh, I showed up. Thank you, whoever did that. My mom loves Monet. So same sort of thing, but she's a flower person and she loves Monet. So I grew up going to art places with her. St. Louis has a beautiful art gallery. And of course the one in Chicago, the Art Museum.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. The Art Institute has a very large collection of impressionist painters, and they recently even they also have some special collections that come in, and I was there recently to see some of their work. They have a very famous Seurat there, which is the one where everybody is La Gorgette, where they make the picture out of millions of tiny little dabs of paint. Really, really beautiful. So yeah, big fan of the Art Institute. Thank you, Marci. Next time I'm in Chicago, I'm gonna have to look you up because
absolutely, please do.
Yeah, because I
Norman's here, Renata's here. Maybe we could have a party, IIBA party.
That's my hometown. So
sounds good. Where'd you grow up?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I grew up in north of Chicago, Chicago proper, in the north part of town, and yeah. Born at St. Bernard's, And yeah, that's my hometown. So
Small
well,
world.
yeah, it's a small world. So I'll have to look you guys up next time I'm in town.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
Beverly, thank you so much for the thoughtfulness of the learning. You know, we don't have to, not everything we learn has to be so encumbered by books and websites and rote memory of things. And we all have to deal with user stories if we're working in the Agile world, or if we're writing documentation, we have to keep front of mind who is the stakeholder, what they want, and why they want it. So I appreciate you putting this together for us today.
Well, thank you. And it's a lot of fun. And Kathy, I see you put up a lovely picture. I'm assuming that's your mother.
That is my mom. She was a nurse in Chicago in the late 50s, mid late 50s. She was a visiting nurse and would go on the south side of Chicago, which she would shouldn't have done back then, but would definitely not do it now. As a nurse. But she was a very petite, 5 foot nothing, barely 100 pounds. But the nice thing about the late 50s, when she would go into the neighborhoods to bring health care to folks and bring medicine to folks and help them feel better, is they knew that the visiting nurses were there to help the neighborhood. So they protected the visiting nurses. And
Mhm.
she told us one story that there was a gentleman, middle of the day, had been enjoying a little bit too much liquid refreshment and wanted to just have a chat with this very attractive little cute nurse. And mom was feeling very uncomfortable. So she hustled ahead of him a few steps and found a couple of the gentlemen that she knew from the neighborhood, and very quickly said, would you guys please occupy him so I can get home safely? And so, as soon as the guy got to those two gentlemen, they certainly occupied him. Not mean, not any kind of fighting or anything that. But he kept saying, "But I need to go talk to the nurse. I need to go talk to the nurse." So yeah, the story she tells me about being a nurse, she was and still is a sweetheart. How she ever fell for my father, I have no idea. That is a story for the ages that we'll go through another day. But
Nurses are really special people. I always like whenever I get like blood taken or go to a doctor, I'm so grateful that these people exist, that they took all the science classes that I wouldn't have passed, and be able to take care of us. And those nurses are our moms too, right? They take care of us while we're in the hospital, and they give us the love and attention that a mother would give while we're there. And that's when we're always in a rough time, is when we're in the hospital or seeking medical care. So that's a whole set of different kind of moms and dads that take care of us there. Thank you for sharing that picture. That's one of those sepia tone throwbacks. It's beautiful, really beautiful. Really happy memories. Beverly, is there anything else you wanted to add on the learning section here?
Only thing I want to say is thank you everyone for sharing. And, it's great hearing all the stories.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Beverly. All right,
Thank you.
so let's wrap up the evening and get you back home to the people that you care about, those of you who have to be moms or dads later tonight. We have another event like this coming up in August. If you had a good time, we hope to see you back in August for our next happy hour. And if you could share the link with your friends and colleagues who you think might be interested, we would love to have their input and love to see them at our next event. There's if you check the Bluegrass IIBA site, we have a lot of exciting things coming up in the future. We just had a great book nook. We are getting ready to have in a few days a learning conference, and then we're having a general meeting. So there's just a lot of things happening with the Bluegrass IIBA. so thrilled to be a part of that and look forward to seeing you all at one of our upcoming events. Thank you so much for this evening. Our team will be sending out the recording and all these delicious recipes that we learned in the chat. I can't wait to get that. So thank you so much. Have a lovely evening, all of you. Thank you so much and goodbye. Good
You
night,
too.
everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Happy late Mother's Day, everyone.
Take
Stay at
care.
home,
Good night.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good night,
Bon
everyone.
appetit.
Good night.
Bon appetit.
Thanks, guys.